19.
Here we go. All right. So first and foremost, our thoughts and prayers go out to those in the path of Hurricane Ida. That thing sure looks like a doozy. Chief, get out your broom. The Rays are winners of 9 of the last 10 and sweep the O's. We finally get to see the Bucs first team offense, and it was awesome. We're also going to talk about man's greatest fantasy on today's show. So stick around and find out what that is. And for the 74th consecutive week, I would like to say to you, welcome to the main event. There he is. He's got the brooms. He's multiple kind of brooms out.
It's a double sweep week.
It's a double sweep week.
They swept the Phillies and the Oreos.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was in the 2-game set. Man, by the way, did you guys check the home run that Bryce Harper hit in that game?
Yeah, it still may be traveling.
It might still be going. Holy cow. It's amazing to me. Yeah, it's amazing to me he hits a home run like that and it didn't really shift the momentum or slow down the Rays. Because that was like, if that was like a playoff home run, that'd have been a big deal home run.
Yeah.
So, all right, well, we'll get back to Major League Baseball. So we got our first opportunity to see significant playing time this week out of the Bucs first team offense. Now the first drive, not so good. Chief, what'd you see?
Yeah, you're right. The first drive, everyone's got a little jitters, so the first drive didn't look good. The second drive, though, wow, talk about a tale of two drives. Just made that up, but a tale of two drives. So, hey,
it was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
Yes, exactly. So, the offensive line did a really nice job protecting Tom Brady. They threw the ball like seven or eight times in a row on that drive. Mm-hmm. And the offensive line, he never got touched. He never really was pressured. Also, Tom got rid of the ball pretty quick too. And it wasn't like the receivers were just like extraordinarily open. There were a couple passes where he was, putting it right where it needed to be. The timing looked like it was on point between, especially him and Godwin. I mean, really good. Mike Evans, Antonio Brown. I mean, all those guys looked like they were ready for opening day. Second drive, we see Ronald Jones gets a nice run. Yep. And I credit, some of that also to the offensive line. So I'm going to say offensive line looked really good. And that was kind of my big takeaway from the offense.
Yeah, I thought too, Chief, because of the way they were moving the ball in the air, that started to open up the run game in that third drive.
Oh, it definitely opened up the run. Run. Yeah, they finally said, well, if you're gonna pass like crazy, we're gonna have to drop some guys back into coverage, and there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even O.J. Howard got a nice catch.
Whoa.
Yeah. What?
Things have never been said on this show before.
Yeah. These guys look sharp. And that's what you want to see on the third preseason game, which now we're not going to see a fourth preseason game anymore. Mm-hmm. We're going to have a week off out there, folks. And then we start the regular season against the Dallas Cowboys, and we need them to look sharp like this. This is something that I needed to see to be confident about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers coming out and being dominant. And they certainly can be dominant. Like you said, the offensive line played well. Their timing was on. Passes were on. Brady was on. I'd like to see a little more running, but just like when the Buccaneers were bad 2 years ago, what did everybody do to us? They passed on us because that's our weakness on defense. Yeah. And if that was the weakness on Houston's defense, hey, let's practice the passing game and attack it and see how it works. And that's what they did.
Yeah, TSG. I don't know. Talking about the running game, and I haven't looked at what their first half stats or their first quarter stats were for rushing yards versus the rest of the game. The rest of the game, the offense didn't really play that well, and they spent a lot of time trying to throw the ball. And obviously, they're trying to get a good look at Kyle Trask, I think. So I don't know that that's really like their total rushing yards for the game is really indicative of what we can expect out of the season. But I think if they continue to throw the ball like they did in those first two drives, we're going to see some guys get some cleanup yards, Mike Allstott style, in the fourth quarter, like we saw going back into the early 2000s. That was, I tell you what, it was incredibly fun to watch. You mentioned TSG too, that you wanted to see a significant domination. And I think Bruce Arians came out ahead of this game and said his expectation was to see them be dominant versus the Houston Texans. Now, with that said, their defense isn't great. They're in fact, they switched defensive styles this year. So those guys are learning a new scheme. And we made them look like they're learning a new scheme with a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Yeah. They're in. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Pooh. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I didn't see the game. I watched the highlights, and I didn't see Deshaun Watson at all. I think Tyrod Taylor.
Yep, Tyrod Taylor got the start.
Was the quarterback. He didn't look awful, so they might not be in that bad of shape, but I don't think, the Texans, I think this is a train wreck all season long.
No, I don't think Watson will play all season. He's listed on the depth chart as a number 4 quarterback. I don't even know that he's in camp.
Wow. Well, he did show up for camp at least a couple weeks ago. It was a report.
Yeah. This guy went from I'm going to hold out, I want to get traded, I want to get paid, to now in some pretty significant legal trouble and has no leg to stand on.
Yeah.
Well, everybody gets their day in court, so we'll see what happens with the charges. But either way, the franchise trading J.J. Watt away, trading Denard Hopkins a few years ago, this is a franchise in trouble right now.
They are in disarray. They have a new coach there. This guy's waited 20 years to get his coaching career, and this is what they hand him. So it's kind of tough because they say he's a good guy. I don't really know him well, but yeah. So the Bucs look sharp. The problem for the Bucs, I think, is going to be can we stay healthy? Right? I saw Bernard get a little tweak on the ankle there. I saw Scotty Miller take a big hit to the arm, and
he took a huge hit.
That's the one that worried me most. Is because the way he was looking, it looked like he sprained it pretty good. Hopefully not. I'm not seeing anything, and my sources deep in the tunnel have given me nothing. So I don't know anything yet. But
you have inside sources, TSG?
No, literally the tunnel. He's in the tunnel beneath the stadium.
Yes. I follow people around. It's creepy.
Well, for me, wide receiver is probably one of the deepest positions this team has. Yes. So even though I love Scotty Miller, he was my breakout player prediction a few years ago. I don't want to see him get hurt, obviously, but wide receiver is not the problem area with injuries.
No.
Right? And you've got Johnson as well, and quite frankly, with the tight end core that they
Johnsons. have, we got 2 Johnsons.
With the tight end core that they have, those guys all have pretty great hands too,
right?
Except
maybe
OJ Howard.
I tell you what, I did love seeing. Right, so like I said, I didn't watch the game, watched highlights, but there was one play to Godwin. I'm guessing it was the second or third drive when Brady was still in. It looked very New England-y. It looked very Bill Belichick, where the running back came out from the flat, cleared the linebackers out, so the middle of the field's open, and the slot receiver was Godwin. Came in and Brady threw him right over his right shoulder. Yeah. Boom. You can't stop that play. You cannot stop that play. As long as the receiver catches it, it's good for 20 yards every single time. So I love to see that, because that reminds me again of the Brady from New England. It's very hard to defend.
And on the defensive side of the ball, though, Ndamukong Suh did not play yesterday. McClendon. God, McClendon stepped in, played really good football for him. But we got to see what I did really like. We saw the defensive backs, they were jumping routes, they were knocking balls down. They had a couple nice interceptions.
Yep.
Tyron continues to impress.
Wow.
So I was watching him a little bit when he came onto the field. He usually plays, it seems to me, on the left side. That seems to be where they're going to put him in at. Well, all of a sudden he's on the right side, and I thought, this is interesting, because a lot of guys, they can make that turn off the left, but they can't make the turn off the right. That's the play. First play off the right side. I said, let's see how this goes. He comes around the quarterback, and swipes the ball out from behind him. I mean, it was going to be a sack at a minimum. Turns out to be a fumble.
Yep.
So apparently just as quick, right or left. So that's been really impressive.
Yeah, I really started keying in on him too. And I don't remember him playing much. I don't think he played much with the first team, but he eventually got out there, and, he got a lot of snaps. He played most of the game after that. And understandably, he didn't play college football last year. He opted out because of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
But when I started keying in on him, I felt like he was a factor on every play in some way or another. He always seemed to be around the ball on every, and it didn't matter which side, Chief, to your point, he was lining up on.
And he's going to have to learn how to hit the quarterback legally, because he's already gotten a penalty this season for when he made his first sack. And then last night there was another play where it should have been a penalty, and it didn't, and it wasn't. He got away with one, but he's young, so he's going to make some mistakes. I'm just hoping they get that under wrap, because we learned last year, once we tightened up those penalties, those drive killers, or not drive killers, but because he's on the defense. But when you give up stuff like that, you give up points, like a field goal when you shouldn't have. Possibly you extend a drive for them.
Yeah. Hey, so not that I just want to rave about Tyron. I mean, but what I did notice about he's an outside. Try on. I'm trying him on. So he his pass rush really impressive. But, and sometimes those guys aren't the best tacklers. And he had a couple of nice tackles too, where the runner was just getting past him a little bit because he was coming in from the outside. And, he was the guy that put the kibosh on the run. So a lot of upside to this guy. I don't know what their formula is. There's some scouting going on here in Tampa, by the way, not just in football, but, across all sports. We're doing something right when it comes to scouting, because just like you said, TSG, he didn't play last year, and he fell, all the way down to our position, last pick in the first round, which I think, if he had played played last year, he probably would have been a top 10 pick.
Yeah.
Well, I think even with our second pick in the draft, which was Kyle Trask, who most likely we're definitely not going to, unless Brady gets hurt, we're not going to see him play this year. Most likely not going to see him play next year. I think all of us are under the hopes that Brady is going to come for a third season in Tampa if things go well. But that's a pick that maybe they didn't necessarily need to make in the second round, but it was a smart second round pick because they're thinking to the future, not to, I need a guy to play right now. So there may have been some other quarterbacks that, had they waited until later rounds were available, they wouldn't be building a franchise on the future of hopefully that pick.
Hey, Kyle Trask had a great pass. He had a couple great passes.
He had a great touchdown pass.
I mean, and that was an NFL pass right there.
Yeah,
that was
the touchdown was. Yeah,
exactly. Right where it needed to be. A lot of power behind it, on target, on time. Perfect.
And we may need him, because it's probably why they drafted him, because Gabbert had a terrible game. He did not look good. It might not have been all his fault with the trying to use that guard as a center. Some miscues there. A lot of miscues on that second team offense. But but he did not have a good game. But Trask, man, he just looked like he reminded me when he was when he came in as a quarterback for the Gators, and it's like one of those guys that fits in and it just goes right because he knows.
It really kind of makes you wish that you could have seen him play with the first team.
Well, that's what I've been saying for 3 weeks now. I mean, he looked better when he had protection. When he was when he had to rush the throw, that's when he looked like a rookie. Yeah. So that's a learned skill. When you learn to feel the pocket collapsing and know what your options are, either evade or throw away or look for an out, look for a different receiver. That's all learned. Right, you're not expected to know that in your third preseason game of your first rookie camp. So I'm fine with that. But when he has protection, he's making the right reads, like you guys were saying. Beautiful NFL style throws. So I think this is going to be a fabulous in the future. All pans. Can't wait. Let's live in the now.
Let's live in
now's
the
pretty good.
now. Hey, and just one last
now's
kind of
pretty
note,
good.
unless you guys have anything else to add on the Buccaneers, but even the special teams looked really good. Outside of, we didn't have the kicker because he was on the COVID list, but they had some pretty good special teams play, especially on the return game and the defending the return game.
But there was a blocked extra point. The first one was blocked. That can't happen again.
That kid that's filling in for Suck Up is he has a big leg. He's the backup kicker, but he has a low trajectory when he kicks it, and he's got to fix that. Twice that was a problem for us.
Well, I mean, I don't think he's going to be. I mean,
no,
they probably brought him in just to kick for this.
But he does
game.
kick 70-yarders. They said,
they were saying he consistently hits from 70. Yeah, isn't that crazy?
In practice,
but you've got, like, to your point, TSG, you've got to have that low trajectory to get that much power behind one.
Yeah.
No doubter.
So that's a no.
But I'm ready. This football is, boys, real, meaningful football.
So okay. So let me ask you this, Pooh Bear. What are your thoughts this week? Jameis named QB1 in NOLA.
I can't wait for the Bucs to play him. I'll predict 4 turnovers that week. Oh man, no. Honestly, I really do wish the best Jameis. I mean, he seems like just a decent guy who I don't want to see him fail, but I don't want to see him succeed against my team. You know what I mean? So best of luck out there in New Orleans, especially this week today with the hurricane coming down, everybody over there. But I think he was the best choice of the two. I don't think Taysom Hill is an NFL quarterback. He's a gimmick quarterback. We've seen Jameis put up 5,000 yards. We've seen Jameis throw for 30 touchdowns. We've also seen him throw for 30 picks and have 15 turnovers, 15 fumbles. But I think Michael Thomas is out for a while, so he's going to have some growing pains as well. But let's see what he can do. I predict another decent statistical number. He'd be a great fantasy pick, but I don't want him leading my team.
Well, I mean, the challenge, even with him being a great fantasy pick, is how much does he turn the ball over? Here the reality is if he can cut the turnovers down even by a third, right? Which I know sounds absurd. If he can cut them down even by a third, he's an MVP caliber quarterback.
But that's what we kept saying here, and he couldn't do it. He couldn't do it.
He's got a different coach. I think if anyone can do it, Peyton could do it. But if any team knows how to make him fail, it should be us. So we know all his weaknesses, and I would be baiting him because
if you get to him, he's going to make bad decisions.
Exactly. When you get him rattled, he makes bad decisions.
But if you can bait him, so he was baited so many times
in the middle, you bait him across the middle
so
every
easy.
Single time. He cannot figure out that the linebacker is going to jump a route. He can only see the outside. He does not see the inside. And again, with the numbers stockpiling problem, he did a lot of that with Mike Evans here. I don't know if he's going to have that type of receiver there. Michael Thomas is a fantastic outside receiver, but I don't think he's going to be playing most this season. Yeah. So it's going to be tough.
So kind of as we're keeping the conversation in the NFC South real quick, TSG, do the Bucs have an easy road through the NFC South this season?
Saints are still going to be tough no matter what. And here's what I found. Every time you think one team is going to be crap, that team ends up being strong. So they're kind of the NFL is kind of down on Atlanta and Carolina. One of those two is going to be tougher than we think. They're going to be one of those two is going to be decent. I don't know. It could. I guess maybe North Carolina because you just don't know what to expect. We know what to expect with Atlanta. You got Matty Ice that's been playing forever, and he just hasn't. Well, they did go to the Super Bowl, and they probably should have won that Super Bowl had they not ran into our quarterback, the GOAT.
Somebody named Brady.
But
I'd love to know what was said in that locker room at halftime.
Yeah.
So,
all right. Well, hold on. But so the NFC South, though, don't forget that. The head coach over in Carolina, Rule, that guy's a really good football coach. He succeeded everywhere he's gone, and he hasn't always had the best pool to work with. So he is a good coach. Okay, not just a guy that you see from college that comes with tons of talent wrapped around him. So I expect Carolina to be better than a lot of people are predicting. Don't forget, Dirk Cutter still has an axe to grind with Tampa Bay. Offensive coordinator in in Atlanta now. So those teams they can, especially Atlanta. Those guys can stink all year. Well, San Francisco or the Saints. We knocked them out of the Super Bowl. So there's a lot of teams that have us as a bigger target than the Super Bowl's already made us. So the NFC South, they are coming to play. I don't think it's going to be as easy for us as it is for other teams when they play the other teams in the NFC South.
Yeah, and we lost to the Saints twice last year.
Yeah,
regular season.
Not when it mattered, though.
All right, so while we're talking the NFL from like a global perspective, the season kicks off 1 week from Thursday, which your Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking on the Dallas Cowboys. By the way, it's insane if you've looked at ticket prices for this game. Like $90 seats are going for $1,200.
It costs $25 just to look at the tickets.
But Pooh Bear, I'm going to throw one to you for the upcoming season, just the season in general. Who do you think will be unexpectedly good, and who will be unexpectedly not so good?
I'll go with the not so good first. I gotta make sure don't want to overstep over here, but everybody got a lot of high hopes for the Packers, and I just don't see them competing very well.
That was going to be mine.
Oh, I'm sorry, but they were your NFC champion runner-up, right? They lost the Buccaneers essentially in the last quarter. They were running, but again, another franchise in trouble. You've got apparently Aaron Rodgers running the whole thing.
They have culture issues there. They have team culture issues.
Correct. You've got one of the. I mean, he's a Hall of Fame quarterback, essentially, Aaron Rodgers. He's going to be. Devontae Adams is probably one of the best wide receivers in the league, arguably the best. Aaron Jones is one of the best running backs around, but they just can't seem to put together. It seems to be a lot. It reminds me of the Steelers a few years ago. And they had all this talent with Roethlisberger and AB and Levante, the running back, that guy. Yep. But they could not get it together. Even with Mike Tomlin as a quality head coach who is basically, that is his thing, is culture. It is, you are a winning team. We keep this in-house. They just could not handle it, and they basically crapped the bed. So I kind of see that happening for the Packers. Again, I don't wish ill will on anyone. I don't want to see anybody's career over because of this, but I think that's probably what's going to happen. As far as a team that's probably going to do better than we think, I'm going to go, I don't know, maybe the Dolphins, something like that, where, they kind of flirted with the playoffs last year. I think they even made the playoffs last year.
Yeah, they did make the playoffs, yeah.
But they made some solid fundamental changes. They've got some great secondary, great defense. I think Tua, having some more time, is going to be able to come around a little bit. So I'd expect the Dolphins to maybe win the East, to be honest.
All right. TSG, you got any different thoughts on Pooh Bear?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I'd be very interested to see how the Rams do with their new quarterback. With Matthew Stafford.
Is that surprisingly good or surprisingly bad? I'm not sure. Which way are you going with that?
I think they're going to be surprising. Well, I don't know if they're going to be surprisingly good. I think everyone's expecting them to be good. They probably will be good. But it is something that I'm very – because he's never been a winner, okay? And there's just something about guys.
Well, he played in Detroit, for crying out loud. Wow, give the guy a little bit of credit, man. Wow, that was brutal.
Hey, at least use Pooh Bear's line with "I don't wish any ill will on anybody."
I mean, the guy was playing in Detroit.
Wow.
If you're gonna say that, Megatron was never a winner.
So a lot of people don't think that they think Seattle's going to be good. I think Seattle's going to take a step back. I think they're going to fall to the bottom of the pack this year.
Okay.
I do. I don't think they're going to do well. I don't think the Cleveland Browns are going to do as great as everyone thinks. I think the Bengals are going to be a surprise when they get
Joe Burrow back.
I think the Bengals are going to be a little bit better than people think. Pittsburgh Steelers, I don't think they're going to be. I think they're just going to be fairly average. And
hey, you've gone through half the NFL here, man. You don't get to comment on every team.
Yeah.
You got to leave something for the rest of us here. This guy's gonna just.
Well, you can agree.
He's
All right, so here's what I got from TSG: the Seattle Supersonics, also known as the Seattle Seahawks. They are his, unexpectedly bad and unexpectedly good. Was that the Cincinnati Bengals?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Chief. Chief, do you have anything different than these other two?
Yeah, because they all missed out on a couple of good ones here. So first of all, unexpectedly good, the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee Titans have an offense that I think can score 30 points on almost any game. Their Achilles heel is going to be their defense, which may give up 31 points a game. I'm not 100% sure, but they also have to play the Chiefs.
But they were in the AFC Championship. Is that unexpectedly bad?
If you're the Tennessee, I think if you're the Tennessee Titans, it's a surprise to everybody that they're going to be good or expected to be good. So
I mean, like I said, they're the runner up for the AFC. They were a play away from the Super Bowl.
Okay.
So I think the expectations for them is pretty good this year, is what I'm saying. So I don't think if they get the AFC Championship game, I don't think that's unexpected.
All right. Well, okay, scratch. Okay, you know what? All right, I'll play your game. I'll play your game, and I will go with my second team that I think is going to be unexpectedly good, which is a shot across TSG's bow, because I think the Cleveland Browns are a fundamentally good football team. Any football team that likes to run first and then pass second. Yeah, Baker Mayfield, he's coming into his own, does great commercials. I think that he's gonna. This is the Browns are going to be unexpectedly good. Here we go, guys. You ready? Unexpectedly bad. Unexpectedly bad, because I think there's a lot of high hopes for Urban Meyer.
Just for the record, this is why I'm glad we play fantasy football against the Chief.
Yeah,
right? Because some of the ways he comes to conclusions on things.
I'm pretty sure I was in first place last year for a while.
I believe you were in last place like the entire season.
No. Hey, so the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to be unexpectedly bad. I mean, they've already tried the Tebow.
Unexpectedly bad. They're already bad.
Yeah, but you bring in Urban Meyer. These guys have a lot of high hopes for this. They're going to be bad.
Again, I'm glad we play fantasy football against this guy.
I feel like he's playing a mind game. Chief, you're playing a mind game with your picks right here. All right.
He had the right answer.
I'm going to agree with Pooh Bear on unexpectedly bad as Green Bay. I think I said it. They have a culture problem there that cannot be fixed. My unexpectedly good, the Raiders.
Wow.
Okay.
That is going out on a limb. That is
that's why it's unexpectedly good.
Right. I like that.
See?
So Carr finally figures it out and gets the Gruden system going. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. They're ready to go.
Because they do. I mean, they do have the core, the foundation for a quality team, right? With all I think they still have got a great running back, great receivers. It's all there. They just got to put it together. Good one, nice. I like that.
I don't have faith. I don't have faith in John Gruden.
I don't. But if you look at this holistically and say, okay, in 6 weeks we're talking about a team that's 4-2, doing pretty well, second place in the West to the Chiefs. I think that's a win for them.
Hey, I just want to see how many Raiders that B-Love picks up in the draft tonight for the fantasy draft later on.
Yeah.
Listen, I said unexpected. I didn't say that I was going to follow down that path.
Oh, yeah, you did.
Right, so Pooh Bear, hopefully, did you write all these down? Like normally you have your little fancy notebook, you can write them all down.
It's right there.
All right. Well, the good news is that you can go back and watch the show.
Yes. And
you can write them down. Okay.
Hey, listen, the only thing that could make Cleveland Browns worse is if you put Matthew Stafford as their quarterback. Okay.
Wow. TSG is upset about the whole Cleveland Browns thing.
All right.
That's okay. Yeah. That's okay. All right, gentlemen, let's switch gears. We've been covering football for quite a bit, half the show. And let's talk a little bit about baseball. So, TSG.
Wait a second. The Rays just hit another home run.
The Rays just hit it. Was it Joey Wendell?
Joey Wendell.
Again? TSG, before we get into like the Rays specifically as a team, and how exciting is it starting to become to watch Wander Franco?
Hey, This guy is a beast. Okay. So this guy comes up into the big leagues, right? And all the pressure he's got on him, right? I mean, he has all the pressure in the world on him. And he stumbles just a little bit, right? Works his way through it, though. He had, what did he go, 28? Was it 28 or 18 at bats?
Without a hit, yeah.
Without a hit? I mean, that could crush someone. That could crush someone for forever, right? But he keeps plugging away. He gets a hit here. He gets a hit there. Next thing you know, he gets on a nice little hot streak. And then next thing you know, he starts bombing. And he's as hot as they get right now. And he's proven why. He was the number one recruit out of baseball. Everyone wanted him. And we kept him. We finally brought him up. The contract we were finally able to bring him up for with the contract, working out the contract reasons. Anyway, but he's hot, man, and I love watching him play.
I was just thinking that I came up with a great Christmas present idea for you guys, and I was like, man, how cool would it be if I gave everybody a Wander Franco rookie card for Christmas? And while I'm just sitting here, I Googled it. Dude, these things are going for like $850. The Wander Franco rookie card. Yeah.
One cheap, thanks.
Listen, Pooh Bear has 32 of them.
So he's over here speaking my language now.
Yeah, well, forget it. I'm not buying you guys Wander Franco. Maybe a newspaper article I can get with them on it or something, but it's not going to be the rookie card.
So listen, I was tough on this guy when he initially came up. His first game, he was what we expected to see. And then to TSG's point, it took him a while to get his sea legs. But today he had his 29th consecutive game of getting on base.
Tying him with Ted Williams?
Mickey Mantle.
Wow. I knew it was one of the greats.
Okay. Right now, he's currently, for players 20 years or under, he has the 6th longest streak for on-base percentage. All of the other guys are Hall of Famers.
Wow.
That is a pretty exclusive club to be a part of.
It's fantastic.
And the guy's glove isn't horrible. Did you see some of the plays he made in the hole this week?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's supposed to be
good glove, good arm.
Yeah.
I think eventually he's going to be moved to third. I've been saying that for a long time. I just think he's going to fit better in a third as far as being a not such a defensive heavy minded player. Shortstop, it takes a lot of toll. You're doing a lot of shifting around, playing second base. You're doing a lot of double plays. Yeah. I think that can wear a lot of guys out, and he's a thicker fellow. He's a thick boy.
He's a big boy.
Yeah. I get it. I mean, listen, I used to say all the time that the best shortstop in the American League played third base for the New York Yankees.
Alex Rodriguez. Yeah. So I think he's eventually going to make that shift, probably to give way to Vidal Brujan or one of these other young hot shots the Rays have. The Rays are just loaded with infielders anyway. But yeah, the single greatest help for Wander Franco this season has been Nelson Cruz.
Yes.
He's
got protection.
Not just protection, but a mentor, right? So when
speaks his language.
Like just say that.
His literal language.
His literal language, absolutely.
They're both Dominican. You get in there, you start talking about Dominican things, the plantanos, and you're like, wow, okay, this is my guy. He's a borderline Hall of Famer. He's got more hits than Albert Pujols just about. Let's sit down, talk to him, pick his brain. He can show you how to be a professional. He can show you how to do things the Rays way. I mean, it was just a great move by Rays management to bring him in.
Yeah, because you got to think about it. He can speak to him. Like you said, he knows his language, and he can actually communicate with him really well. With inside information for batting and for hitting and, how to go about things and stuff like that.
Right.
So, I mean, that makes things a lot easier, but he does get that protection because these pitchers are going to want, I got to get this guy out before I get to Nelson Cruz because I don't want to throw anything to Nelson if I can. So they're going to pitch a little more to DeFranco, which helps him out a little.
Yep.
I smell bacon.
It's not coming from my house.
I smell bacon. All right. Pooh Bear, I'm going to come back to you real quick.
Okay.
Last week, you were very hard on Arch.
Yes.
And
he
how did you
comes
feel?
back today.
How did you feel he bounced back?
He pitched all right. He pitched the way I expected him to pitch. I think he got 5 innings in.
Four.
Gave up, was it 4?
Four.
A little insider. I did fall asleep probably around 3rd inning. Woke up, he was out. I woke up and Fleming was giving up a hit, and I'm like, or a home run. I'm like, back down. Anyway, so that's all I expect from Archer. I want to see you come in and give me 4 innings, 5 innings. Get me to the bullpen. The bullpen had a bit of a down day today.
Yes,
right. Which is fine. The Rays you're going to have those, but the Rays were able to. I still got the NFL banner going. Let me take that down. The Rays were able to overcome that with good hitting against some terrible Baltimore pitching. So it's okay. You can forgive that. But that's what we need to see from Archer. We need to see 4 to 5 innings, get you to the bullpen who can save your butt and keep the game close, regardless of the offensive score.
Yeah.
That's all we need right now. That's all they need.
Listen, I'm just glad he went through in a whole game without coming out because of injury.
Right.
And he only pitched 4 innings, but listen, the guys, he hasn't really pitched at all this season, so it's going to take a while for him
to get
stretched out the innings around him.
Understood.
But I think he gave up 2 earned runs on 4 hits and 6 strikeouts. I think I'll take that.
That's what I'm saying. This is all we wanted from you, Mr. Archer.
Yeah. So I think one of the upsides of this is that he also doesn't have a lot of innings on him this season. So can the guy be a workhorse come the playoffs?
He can if he stays in the game.
If his slider is working, right?
Yeah. So if he stays in the game. Hey, so I saw a stat today I thought was really interesting, and it tells a lot about this team. So they beat the Orioles 18 times this year. 18. I think their record was 18-1. And 10 of those games they had to come from behind to win.
Yes.
Come from behind wins. That's a lot,
I was gonna say I saw this. I think I saw a similar stat to you, Chief, is they have more come from behind wins than any team in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, that's a team that doesn't quit.
They have 40 come from behind wins. That's almost half of their wins.
Yeah. Yep.
So this is a team like if you're here's what I would say, just looking at that stat. If you're deep in pitching, you have a chance against this team. But when we get to the bullpen, you're going to have a difficult time.
Yes,
and that's what I think that's what you're seeing. So that's where playoff baseball becomes much different baseball, right?
Indeed, it does.
Yes.
Looking forward to it,
man. Chief, I got to ask. You're the Yankees. You finally lose. What did they have? 14 straight wins until yesterday, or 13 straight wins, something like that?
Right.
In that time frame, the Rays won 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
So how are you feeling if you're a Yankee fan?
If you're the Yankees or a Yankee fan, you got to be frustrated because everything is working right for you, except for the fact that the Rays won't lose. You can't gain any ground on them. So, it's got to be frustrating for these. Now, we're going to find out because we play the Yankees coming up in New York. Series. Yeah, 3-game series coming up. So, we're going to get it. They're going to get our shot at us, and we're going to get our shot at them. We're going to find out here real quick. But yeah, you got to be frustrated, to put all that together and then not gain even
I think they gained
14.
I think they won. I think they caught 1 game on us.
Well, they may have caught 1, but they gave it back yesterday because they lost yesterday.
It was either Monday or Thursday when the Rays were off. They didn't lose, but they didn't play.
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah.
They're back 5.5.
Yeah, 5.5 back, and they play tonight. They're playing right now. So we'll see how that goes. But listen, we got Boston coming in town this week. They've kind of faltered a little bit. We've played them pretty well. So it should be. I mean, like we were talking last week, this should be an interesting couple of weeks. Last week we were talking about, is the AL East still the best division in baseball? I was looking at some standings today before the show. If the playoffs were to start today, the Rays, Yankees, and Red Sox all make the playoffs. The Red Sox and the Yankees are the wild card. If you look at that NL West, only 2. Padres are out. They would miss the playoffs.
Right. The Reds would be in.
Cincinnati would take that spot.
Yeah.
If you really think about it, for the Rays, the playoffs do start today. They start tomorrow because the Red Sox are still in it. They have everything to gain. The Yankees, like I said, we just talked about it. I mean, we don't have an easy September ahead of us. So
there are some easy opponents. They've got I think the Marin or the Marlins and the Tigers.
Unfortunately, we don't play Baltimore again.
I know we're done with Baltimore.
No more Baltimore.
That sucks a little bit.
But we have to play Toronto, and Toronto's been tough for us this season too.
Yeah.
So all right. So switching gears a little bit, I said at the opening of the show we were going to talk about man's greatest fantasy. What do you guys think that is?
I promised I wouldn't put anything on this channel that my mother, my daughters, or my wife couldn't see. So probably not.
Okay, well, I mean, clearly we're talking about fantasy football, right?
Oh, are we? Stand by.
You're a wizard, Harry.
Did TSG have a wizard hat on? Oh my gosh!
Wow, nice work, too, man. That was totally a surprise.
I know. I didn't tell you guys. We would all have wizard hats if we had enough headroom. He was the only one that had enough room. So between.
Oh man! So tonight is the official fantasy football draft.
Yes.
Yes.
For the league that how long have we been doing this fantasy football league? 20 years, I bet.
Oh, at least
through the service we've been using, it's been like 15. But I know we did it way back when we were having to read the paper in order to get.
Oh, Paulie was the commissioner, and we were all I mean, it had to be at least 5 years of that of a league that we never finished. Those newspaper leagues never quite got to the end. So
all right, so as we tee off tonight for the fantasy football draft, is Christian McCaffrey still the number 1 pick?
Ooh, that's a good question because you've got a lot of fantastic running backs ready to go. And he was hurt a lot of last year. And in my mind, I feel like he's been hurt a lot over the course of his career. But I was looking at his stats, and 2 years ago, he actually had a really, really good season. I think he led the league in rushing, all that. So I'd say, yes, he'd probably still be worth the number 1 pick. But you've got Cook and Kamara and Henry, all the big running backs are all right there too. Whoever's got the first pick definitely has a decision to make.
Yeah. So what you're saying, I'm hearing you say, Pooh Bear, that he's not a perennial number 1 pick. Like
he has been, but he was hurt. He only played like 3 games last year. So whoever drafted him first, which I think was me.
That was me.
Oh, maybe it was you. Got burnt, with that pick, which seems to happen a lot for a lot of number 1 overall fantasy picks. Injuries plague a toll, and it's tough. But in my mind, it felt like maybe it was just recency bias with him being out last season. That it had been a number of years that he didn't finish a season, didn't play well, and then I went back and looked at his stats, and that's just not the case. His first 2 seasons, he was pretty dynamic. So he's been in the league 4 years now, 5 because this is his 5th year. So he definitely is RB1 for sure.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think he's durability. I wouldn't risk it on him. I would go with a receiver probably.
Ooh.
As a number 1 overall pick.
Do we have another spot for him to join?
I know. Can we
Can we make this a money league?
Yes, sir. Maybe he'll take a kicker.
Hey,
for me, it's less about Christian McCaffrey and more about the team that he's playing on. I mean, I know Matt Rule's a good coach, and I said I think they're going to play us, pretty tough. But I mean, look, the Panthers, who knows what you're going to get with them? The reality of it is, so I think, if you're going to go with the number 1 overall pick, you got to go with the guy. By the way, running backs, I mean, everybody today is running back by committee or first half, second half guys. So I'm kind of leaning towards somebody like maybe Patrick Mahomes. This guy's he's going to get you touchdowns. He's going to get you running yards. Not a lot of interceptions with him either. There's not a lot of downside there.
So, Chief, you're looking at perhaps taking a quarterback with your first pick. Here's the thing. Quarterback, to me, is one of the easier picks in a fantasy football draft.
It's deeper.
well, it's deeper for one, but two, I typically don't always look for a quarterback that's on a really great team. But a lot of times I'll look at a quarterback who's going to play from behind a lot because they're going to throw a lot.
If they're playing from behind a lot, means they're not scoring a lot. So I will look for a quarterback that plays on a team with a really good defense, because that means they're going to get the balls. They're going to get the turnovers, going their way more often. Turnover on downs is what I'm saying, not actual turnovers.
So the reason here that you want to, the reason why a lot of people don't go quarterback till like 4th, 5th, 6th round is because you have other positions that you have to fill that are more than 1, 2, 3 running backs, 2 or 3 receivers, right? So in order to fill all of those spots, you've got to start, hitting them early and get the good ones as you can. Because when you get down to the bottom of that mix, it's going to be dry. You get down to quarterback and it's only 1 quarterback league. You got a ton of them, which right. I think you alluded to that, Pooh. You got a big lot of them that you can choose from.
It's deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where you don't have a lot of choices is tight end.
Tight end is slim. Running back's always the slimmest because with the platoon system of the NFL today, you've only got like 5 solid running backs that are the only back on their team. So those are the 5 you want to pick. After that, then yes, that's when you start looking for another position. You want to see if you can snag the best receiver, snag the best quarterback, snag the best tight end.
Yeah,
that's a reasonable choice at that point.
I was going to ask you, where does tight end come down for you? Because there's not very many quality there's not very many tight ends in the league who are a threat to score every week or to put up 80 to 100 yards, right?
There's like 5. Kelsey, Kittle.
A lot of times one of the ways I'll look at a lineup is, okay, I can beat them at quarterback. I can beat them at wide receiver. Is tight end one of those ones that you want to make sure you're winning every week? Or is it, hey, the other 6 teams in my league don't have a good tight end either?
No, for me, what I do during the draft, I'm looking at those top 5. If I can't get one of those top 5s, then I forget it. I'm moving on to a different position. I will play the matchup role. So if I'm playing a team, or if I've got a team on my roster and my tight end doesn't have a good matchup, I'm going to look for a good matchup. Used to be the Buccaneers defense was an awful matchup for tight end. Yes. Tight ends were scoring touchdowns 2 and 3 times a week. So I would have a philosophy of picking the tight end that would play against the Bucs, just knowing that it's going to happen. Austin Hooper was a huge pickup because nobody had him on his roster. But whenever the Falcons played the Bucs, he was on mine, and I got 2 or 3 tutties out of him. Anyway, so that's how I do. I play the matchup game after that. If I don't get Kittle, if I don't get the Raiders tight end, can't remember his name right now, or Kelsey, or
the breakout team of the year,
or Gronkowski, who just is not a good point per catch. Like if you're doing
he's going to score touchdowns.
Correct. He's going to get 1 or 2 touchdowns per game. That's a safe play. So if I don't get one of those top 4 or 5 guys, then I play the matchup.
Man, let's hope he gets 1 or 2 touchdowns a game, right?
Woo!
I think you guys are forgetting that Brait is great. He is.
Listen,
that guy only catches touchdowns.
There's one thing I know for sure. It's as sure as when I used to play fantasy baseball that I was going to pick Junior Griffey. Mm-hmm. And that surety is that the Chief will pick Cameron Brait.
Boom. Can't lose.
The tough thing about picking anyone on the Bucs is like it used to be when Brady was with New England. I almost never took any guys that were with New England because they spread the ball around so much. You never knew who was going to get the ball that week. I mean, they would literally attack the weakness, and if it was this guy's turn this week, that's where they went. It wasn't a all-star player every week that they're going to. So it's very tough with the Bucs too because we got so many receivers. So you pick anybody on this team. It's tough. They're all great players.
I was going to say, I think you have to take that into consideration with the Bucs. Like they're going to spread the ball around on any given week. It could be Chris Godwin, it could be AB, it could be Mike Evans, it could be Scotty Miller, it could be the tight ends. Those tight ends could combine for 100-yard games.
Right.
Godwin is healthy this year too. He could be a monster. He looked good yesterday.
Any other thoughts on fantasy football as we stare down the barrel of another season?
Just glad it's here, man. I love playing. It's what keeps my interest. I don't know if you're considering playing fantasy football, or even entering our Survivor League, which I'll promote here in a second. If you're considering playing it and you're not sure, it's what keeps me interested in the other games. Like I'm watching every Buccaneers game with these guys right here. I'm not going to miss one of those. But am I going to sit down and watch the Bengals and the Browns? If I've got Baker Mayfield,
enough guys in it.
if I got Nick Chubb, if I've got Joe Burrow or Jamar Chase, I'm gonna watch that game to see if my guy's doing well, right? So that's what helps me be interested in that Thursday night game or that Monday night game or that afternoon game that just doesn't look very appealing.
Hey, so I have a question for you guys. Where do you think on the fantasy football charts, on the depth charts, where do you think Tom Brady comes in at?
Well, listen, first of all, I was hoping the question that you were about to ask us is what we wanted to eat with our ribs.
Poi poi.
No. So where does Tom Brady fall in?
109.
That's where he's at on the PPR sheet on ESPN.
No, I'm talking about what other quarterback against other quarterbacks. Where do you find him on other quarterbacks?
He's got to be in the top 5.
The disrespect.
He's got to be in the top 5.
No, I'd say he's not in the top 5.
Above him,
because there's too many running quarterbacks in the league today.
Yeah, you've got Josh Allen, Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson, Dak Prescott.
Those guys are all going to run.
Aaron Rodgers is not going to run, and they got Aaron Rodgers ranked way above Tom Brady. Tom Brady coming in at the Niners spot, just barely above Matthew Stafford.
That's disrespect.
That is disrespect right there, man. Because when you look at the weapons that he has, it doesn't matter if he's moving the ball around to 5 different receivers. He's the one guy that's moving it to all those people. Tom Brady is.
He could have another MVP season this year.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now,
I hope he does.
These guys have now played together for a full season. They played spectacularly together the last 8 games. They played spectacularly together during 2 drives this last night. Like he could have another MVP season.
Listen, I feel Tom Brady's in the locker room telling these guys that we're going for an undefeated season. That's what he's going with, and it happened. And it starts on week 1. That's how I think Tom Brady is going to approach.
I think you got to play one week at a time.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I don't think you go to the locker room saying we're going undefeated.
No. He tells people you can't be undefeated if you don't win week 1. So
okay, I see what you're saying.
Well, that's our ultimate goal, but you've got to win week 1. So you got to win the game.
Let's make sure he knows that somebody has ranked him as the number 9 quarterback, so he can use that as inspiration.
Yeah. Hey, let's just send him the clip of the Chief calling him the Billy Goat.
Ooh.
That'll fire him up.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Oh, man.
That was one of your finer moments.
Yeah, well, I think that's what may have done it. I think that may have what turned it around.
It could have. All right, gentlemen, let's close this thing out with this week's edition of You Can't Fix Stupid. All right, Chief, kick us off. I know you got one.
Okay, so hey, the great news about this one is it doesn't come out of Florida. It's coming to us from our neighbors in Michigan. So a Michigan judge rules against the parents who threw away their son's porn cash. They valued this thing at just over $30,000. On top of that, okay, hold on. That's got to be quite a collection. Yeah, but I hope they used gloves when they carried it, when they threw it away. But here's the thing: I don't know. I'm not going to get there.
$30,000.
$30,000.
Wow.
Plus, now they have to pay the attorney's fees. Hold on. Here's the part that you can't fix stupid. Their son is a 43-year-old man who was divorced. He had to move home to live with his parents. He was living with his parents. Okay.
But he's got 30 grand cash.
He's got 30 grand in porn. Yeah. And, dude, I mean, it's just, and then he goes and sues his parents, by the way. Hey, thanks for letting me live at your house, probably eat your food, soak up your AC and your heat in the winter, by the way, I'm going to see you guys.
I've got questions.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I feel like he's out of the will. I think he screwed himself out of the will, by the way.
All right, so I got questions. My first one is, was this like vintage, hard to find, like,
dude,
first like edition of play, like what
autograph?
Is this like Pooh Bear's baseball cards?
How was it worth that? And second, do you own $30,000 of anything? Besides maybe some stock.
No,
there's a truck and a car in the driveway.
right.
Well, okay.
Well, that's the
I'm
crazy
talking
part.
about
This guy
you have
allegedly
a co-
can't afford
you
an
have a
apartment.
collection of anything that is valued at $30,000.
So you said they threw it away. Is that correct?
Yeah, he threw it away, and then they told him in an email. I guess so the story is he moved out. Yeah, eventually he moves out, and then he finds out that it's gone. Emails his parents to find out where his stuff is, and they're like, "Hey, we think we did you a favor by getting rid of this stuff." And I guess that's what they used in court against him. But yeah, that's a serious collection. It's a lot of money for a guy that can't afford his own apartment. Apparently,
That's
a good point too. That's
where I was at. I was like, you've got this valuable asset, but yet can't move out on your own. Now, maybe he was hiding it from his ex-wife because that would have been
maybe that's why she's his ex-wife.
Maybe,
probably so.
So imagine when this guy pulls up to the dump with this trailer full of magazines, okay? And he's like, "Yeah, what are you dumping?" Well, I got mostly porn.
Oh, when he asks you what ask the guy in the back.
Yeah, like, what are we dumping back there? Well,
because they do ask, they want to make sure you don't have any paint or batteries or
right.
All right, Pooh Bear, you had one this week too.
Unfortunately, it follows the same line of inappropriate discussion. So sorry, Mom. But a young man in India, Salman Mirza, age 25, passed away sadly last week.
Oh, no.
After he was getting a little randy with his girlfriend or someone and couldn't find a prophylactic, so decided to use glue. Glued the hole to his thing-a-ling.
Wow. No, he did not.
Shut.
He did not.
Glued it shut. He dies from organ failure like 2 days later.
Dude, how miserable was that death? Holy smokes!
Had to have been.
And does he not go get help? I mean, at what point do you just like, I gotta need help.
Cut a new hole. I mean,
do something, man. Do something.
Oh my gosh! What is wrong with people?
So again, this was drug related as well, because after the gluing, there was some drugs involved, and so I don't know if he went to the hospital right away. I'm not sure what the healthcare is like in India, but sadly he's he took himself out of the gene pool, so we appreciate it. Thank you.
Wow.
Do you have protection? No, I don't.
Bring
me the Gorilla Glue.
I got some. So at work, one of the strongest adhesives we have that it fixes. Matter of fact, Chief, you may know about it for your boat. It's waterproof. It can be used on multiple different types of materials. It's called 5200. It's by 3M.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We use it all the time for all kinds of stuff. So I imagine that's kind of what he put some 5200 on there. It's not coming off. It's.
I was envisioning Flex Seal, and how that guy can like hawk this on the commercial.
Have you ever used that stuff?
Or the boat with the screen door?
Yes.
No,
I've always wanted to try some Flex Seal. Yeah,
you can hang from a ceiling with that stuff.
What?
Yes. I've always wanted to try it. Yeah, they sell it at Home Depot now, or Lowe's, or one of those. You can straight up go buy it.
Yeah.
I've used it.
Wow.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. That degraded quickly. So
it went downhill quick.
Can we go back to asking the Chief?
Yeah.
So what are we going to have with the ribs?
So I played golf with Chef Javi this week, and dude, he was grilling me about this. He goes, seriously, let me know, what are we gonna do? But he shot 117, by the way. Maybe I'm supposed to say that. It was
wow.
Put him on blast out there, man.
Wow. What did you shoot?
I shot 105, legit okay. 105. Okay, so we're definitely having ribs. So here's the deal. As you guys know, I'm really superstitious. So we're going to do the same meal that we had last year, with the exception of I've got the best banana pudding recipe I've ever had. This banana, I knew that would get you, man. And I hope you're on keto. I still hope you're on keto.
Yes, I am.
I hope you're on keto next week too, man, because this is not keto friendly.
That's my weakness.
So it'll
I
be
was gonna
there.
ask Pooh Bear. I'm gonna I know for sure I can make it to next Thursday on keto. Is it gonna be worth breaking for opening day?
If you're a fan of banana pudding, it is the best banana pudding I have ever had. I had a bite of this, and I think banana pudding is good. Okay, I like banana pudding. I don't crave it, and I crushed this. I said, "Wow, this is really, really good."
All right, what kind of is there a crust on?
I'm not talking anymore. I'm just telling you. That's all I'm telling you, man. That's all I'm telling. I wasn't going to tell you guys that much. I was going to wait till Pooh got here and then just watch him, struggle through it. What am I going to do? Am I going to eat him? Am I not going to eat it? We all know we're going to eat it. You know you're going to eat it. Yes, I know.
The good news here, Chief, is that now he can plan. Right? He can plan.
There you go.
He's not going to eat all day, and then he's going to crush it.
Before that, we're going to have baked beans. I'm imagining.
Yeah, Hobby actually asked for them, so if you guys want them, we can have them.
It's your famous recipe.
Mama Bass's baked beans. All right, we'll do it.
There you go. All right. Other than that, I don't think we need anything. Ribs and beans is good with me.
So you guys, you want me to shove the mac and cheese in?
Oh,
I'm not going to tell you how to run your house.
I'm going to go with no.
Okay, we got one vote for no. Okay, that's all I needed.
No. I'm saying no. Don't shelve it.
No, I know what you meant. Trust me, I know what you meant.
Oh man, and this is a late night. This is a late night, boys. We got to think about this. You're gonna have to sleep on whatever you put in your gut.
Well, you're gonna take a nap too.
You're definitely gonna go into a keto coma.
Yes,
you are.
I gotta put in for.
We'll have Red Bull. Red Bull will be there. Red Bull will be here.
Sugar-free Red Bull.
Sugar-free Red Bull. Yeah.
All right. Why at that point? I mean, if we're gonna do the
Pooh Bear,
it doesn't matter.
Put a pin in this, Pooh Bear.
Hey, time is running out to sign up for the main event fantasy survival football challenge. Don't forget to click the link that's below this video, below our ugly faces. There's a description with the link. The winner is going to get a pretty nice little swag bag if you can get past the four of us. All right, we've already given you some hints today about who to take. Texans possibly losing. You're going to see some Brown. I think somebody had Browns losing big time, coming in unexpectedly. So use our information against us. You know where we're thinking, right? So bet against us. Anyway, if you've watched it this far in the video, you're a real one. You really are. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and click the notification bell so you know every single time we upload a video just like this or something a little different could be coming your way. Boom. All right, until then, we'll be back next week at 7 o'clock. Say good night, Chief.
Good night.